Yesterday was one of those classic market days where everything revolved around tech, and especially earnings. Hey everyone, it's Thursday morning, February 26th, and welcome back to Capital Markets Quickie. I'm your host, Endrit Sella, here to break down yesterday's market action in just 2 minutes. Quick note before we dive in. Today's episode is brought to you by AMF Capital Asset Management Frankfurt. Learn more about our funds and strategies at amf-capital.de. Alright, let's get started. U.S. stocks rallied on Wednesday, with technology stocks clearly leading the charge as investors positioned themselves ahead of some major earnings releases. The Nasdaq Composite led the market higher, gaining nearly 1.3%, building on momentum from the previous session as investors rotated back into technology shares. The Standard & Poor's 500 climbed by roughly 0.8%, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average added about 0.6%. Now, the big story yesterday was earnings, especially after the bell. Salesforce reported solid numbers, with fourth quarter revenue coming in at $11.2 billion, up 12% year over year. Net income rose to $1.9 billion, and earnings per share increased to 2.07. For the full year, revenue reached $41.5 billion. However, despite the strong results, the stock moved lower in after-hours trading after investors focused on guidance and expectations. Then came Nvidia, and those numbers were hard to ignore. The company reported fourth quarter revenue of $68.1 billion, up 73% from a year earlier. Net income surged to $42.96 billion, and earnings per share jumped to 1.76. For the full year, Nvidia posted revenue of $215.9 billion, as demand for artificial intelligence infrastructure continued to explode. Shares moved higher in after-hours trading following the release. Artificial intelligence stayed firmly in focus beyond earnings as well. Sentiment was boosted after AI startup Anthropic introduced new enterprise features for its Claude platform, allowing companies to integrate it directly with tools like Google Drive, DocuSign, and LegalZoom. Experts see this as another sign that AI adoption inside companies is accelerating. Outside of tech, there were some notable movers. Shares of stablecoin issuer Circle jumped by more than 30% after reporting a strong increase in fourth quarter revenue. Meanwhile, home improvement retailer Lowe's beat earnings expectations, but the stock still slipped after investors reacted to softer guidance. And finally, on the political front, President Trump delivered his 2026 State of the Union address earlier this week. After facing recent legal pushback on his tariff plans, the speech included sharp criticism of the Supreme Court and reinforced his intention to push forward with his economic agenda. So overall, yesterday was all about tech leadership, earnings reality checks, and artificial intelligence staying right at the center of the market story. All right, that wraps up today's Capital Markets Quickie. Join me again tomorrow morning for more market updates. See you then.